Oh boy, oh boy, it's that time that I look forward to every week when all across the printed plane, the Lance Wallnau Show goes live, and we get to discuss with Real America's Voice the Real America issues, and it's Saturday. And the exciting thing, Mercedes Sparks, is that this is a week when it's a literal piñata of whacking the left from every angle. I mean, it's just too bad that the media itself is so corrupt that it won't cover and if there was a UFO invasion and it was MAGA aliens, they wouldn't cover it because they're just not going to cover
illegal
anything
aliens
that is not Democratic Party approved. And this is going to create, I think, an incredible backlash because most of America isn't listening to those media sources. And it's going to only increase programs like this, programs that are speaking out boldly and taking on the propaganda machine, which is, all right, so why am I going down this road? When we talk about picking a story, the Durham report is going to be it is going to be like an avalanche of indictments coming in because we've already got 3. And, we made a lot of fun of the Durham report. And I can remember Rush Limbaugh saying, look, folks, this has got to be done exactly right. Because the way that the left, remember the Mueller investigation, remember the New York Times working with Mueller, remember, Pencil Neck Schiff and all those guys lying about, we have information right here. They were like the Michael Avenattis every day on the news talking about what they had as evidence that they have that they couldn't tell you, but you were going to hear. They took us on this trip and took hostage the American political system for 2.5 to 3 years. In fact, the biggest fallout from this Durham report is that the Russia hacking of Trump not only was an illegal espionage invasion of Trump Towers during the campaign, but it was planting evidence like a corrupt cop putting cocaine at the scene of a crime where there was an innocent person, and then following through all the way through to his presidency in order to unseat him. This is what led to the midterms loss for Republicans. Let's get this straight. It's what enabled Congress to go to the Democrats so that they could have the power to impeach the president, not once, but twice. I predict this story will be ignored. It will be contradicted. It'll be qualified and modified. They're going to look desperately for some other story to cover instead of this. But I predict it's going to be like an abscess that is going to take you to the dentist because the pain in America is only going to increase because the momentum now is against these elites in media, in tech, in government that is positioning itself like Trudeau against the people. And that's the great news. The populist movement is being fed by the exposure of corruption on the left. Mercedes, any thoughts on this before I read to you what El Presidente Trump is saying? Because he's got his own game, and you got to see what he's doing. He's putting the squeeze on the cheese with Mitch McConnell right now and the rhinos.
My chair just unlocked on me. I was like, whoa. Anyways, it's amazing. It's getting the coverage that it finally deserves. I mean, it was on Fox pretty much all this week. And I'm really excited that it's going really mainstream. This is something you've been talking about, Lance, for it feels like years at this point. And so, I think it's really exciting. I think a lot more Americans are going to tune into it at this point, and it's not going to be dismissed as some conspiracy theory. Proved right again. So, yes, continue. Let's hear what the president has to say.
Statement by Donald Trump. You guys have heard this, but I want you to catch the inside baseball of what's going on, because what Donald Trump is doing is he's taking his enormous power within the Republican Party to put pressure on the Republican rhinos to see if they are up to the task of saving the republic. What Hillary Clinton and the radical left Democrats did the president said this week, with respect to spying on a president of the United States, even while in office, is a far bigger crime than Watergate. It's going to be interesting to see how it's covered by the media and what, and here it comes, Mitch McConnell and the rhinos will be doing about it. He's throwing the gauntlet down. He's not going to go after the Democrats. He's going to go after reforming the Republican Party. And oh boy, is that going to play well with his base. This is an insult to the Republican Party, but a far greater insult to the nation. Covered very powerfully this morning, by the way, by Fox and Friends, and of course, Maria Bartiromo. Here's the fun part about Trump. You see, Trump's got his Truth media platform being launched. He's going to be like the Rupert Murdoch nightmare of the left, because he's going to come out with his own media establishment. And while he's doing it, he's building the ratings for everybody that's reporting it. This is the genius of Donald Trump. He is going to leverage his influence as taking the media mountain. We call them the mountains. The media mountain is going to be assaulted by Trump, taking his position as a media mogul while beating up on weak, compromising Republicans who won't cover the story. And he's building ratings for his friends right now, just like he did when he ran for office. Can you imagine, Trump says, what should be the biggest story of our time, bigger than Watergate, is getting absolutely no mention, zero in capital letters, he says, in the New York Times, zero in the Washington Post, zero in ABC fake news, NBC fake news, CBS fake news, ratings dead, CNN, MSDNC, puts his dig in there. This is in itself the great scandal. The fact that a story is so big, so powerful, and so important for the future of the survival of our nation is getting zero coverage from that lame stream is being talked about all over the world, the whole world. You know, the left really never understood this. I traveled to Asia. I traveled to South America during the Trump presidency, met with what is a global movement. It's a global movement, folks. And what the left never understood was that Trump literally labeled fake news, and it became a global brand for American media. And it became a brand for the populace all over the world with their own country. And I would go to other countries, and these are like, I work with the nonprofits and business leaders and Christian organizations. And these guys would come up to me that didn't speak English, and their greeting to me at the airport would be, fake news. They got that down in English because Trump branded it. They saw what was going on, that America was in a propaganda bombardment from fake news. And Trump continues, just like they wouldn't talk about the many Biden corruption scandals prior to the election, or for that matter right now, the Biden scandals. They won't talk about this, which is potentially even bigger. It shows how totally corrupt and shameless the media is. And I'm going to continue to read this right now because I think Donald Trump speaks, as it were, as the oracle of the movement that he started. Can you imagine if the roles were reversed and the Republicans, in particular, if it was President Donald J. Trump, who got caught illegally spying into the office of the president? All hell would break loose. The electric chair would immediately come out of retirement. The good news is everybody's talking about not only this atrocity against our nation, but that the press refuses to even mention the major crime that took place. And I'm relishing every syllable of this announcement, ladies and gentlemen, because two great institutions, two great mountains that have been occupied by demonic infestation to take down America and reset the world in the globalist anarchy of what we believe is an end time emergence of government, big tech, and global economics crushing the sovereignty of nations. God is himself extending his scepter of righteousness in answer to the desperate prayers of people for these years. And he is now troubling the kingdom of darkness. And the mountain of media and the mountain of government is about to experience a profound profound and devastating blow.
Don't go anywhere. You're going to miss it. The whole podcast is over on lancebonall.com/podcast. This is just an excerpt. Go watch the full thing. Click the link in the description. It'll take you right there.